All right. Yes.
There was,
The microphone is racing towards you as we...
One over here.
Yeah, there's one there and there's one coming here. So we'll go you first and then you second. No, we'll go you first.
Go for it.
I'm easy. Chris, if you were in the race before Monza, you related that the reason you had the seat belts was to keep you in the car because the track was so rough. What was the track?
That was an old Nürburgring. You used to come up over the brows of these hills and the car would actually leave the ground and you were sort of going up in the seat like this and literally that was the reason we put a 6-point harness in to keep ourselves in the seat. It was in hindsight, it was a very fortuitous move.
Very fortuitous.
Bob, my phone rang before. Kimmy's downstairs and wants to see you.
All right, good. I always knew he was looking for another job somewhere. He's come all the way here to find it.
I've always been curious to know what the pre-race, when you talked to your drivers and you didn't quite have the car that was there to do the job and win, what did you say to them? And you've got to win on, you've really got to do it.
Well, no, you don't really say that because by the time you get to the race, it's all automatic, really. If the driver doesn't know what he's out there for, there's no point in having him, and he wouldn't have got that to that stage. You know, if you tell a driver, go out there and win the race and don't crash, what's he going to do first lap? He'll either be so dog slow or he'll crash. So I think once you get to Murph's professional end of the sport and Formula One, that sort of thing, these guys know what they've got to do, and if they're not mentally prepared to go and win, what's the point of being there, to be honest? True?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
There you go. That's from an expert.
Everyone's too scared to come and tell me anything before a race.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to go near him before or after a race if he hasn't won.
Especially if I've qualified outside the top 10. It's not good. Yeah.
Right, who's next?
Bob, how does the KERS system work, please?
Badly, in a word. There's been a lot written about the KERS system, kinetic energy recovery system, and everybody thinks it's the second coming. First of all, it is a fairly simple system. Cars these days, Toyotas, Lexus, all the hybrids, have a way more complex and better system on them, so you're not trying to reinvent something. The KERS system really is just a way of garnering some of the lost energy under braking and putting it into acceleration. There's two versions of it. Williams has one where there's a carbon or a composite flywheel which gathers the energy and puts it back into the engine. The McLaren one, Mercedes one, which is the most successful one, is a battery system. The original KERS systems were weighing 35, 40 kilos plus some. They've now got that down to about 25 kilos with the advent of new batteries and things. But as I say, if Formula One is supposed to be the pinnacle of technology, why not use the technology that's available in Lexus, Toyotas, and all that sort of stuff? So they're kind of going back a little bit. But a version of KERS was invented probably 10 years ago now by Mario Ilian and Adrian Newey, and they had it on the Mercedes engine, and we tested it, and it was fantastic. And once the FIA, or more importantly Ferrari, got to hear about it, it was banned because it was too complicated for other teams to use. Then all of a sudden, 10 years later, the leader of our sport suddenly thinks, this is a bloody good idea, why don't we have KERS? So they started all over again, and they made it way too expensive at a time when they're trying to save money. Only two teams run it effectively now. That's McLaren and Ferrari. Whether it will be run again next year or not, I don't know, because we've had two KERS cars win races now. So people may decide to buy a proprietary package from probably Mercedes. But whether people choose to develop their own systems, I don't know, because it's a very, very expensive thing to develop. McLaren Mercedes reputedly spent $50 million to develop that system. And you know why? It's supposed to be saving money. You know, great, it's new technology, but it's not, I don't think it's the way to introduce it, that's all.
Yeah, if I could just add a bit on that, I think it's Formula One is absolutely wasting its time and money with KERS. The system they've got produces 80 horsepower, I believe it is.
Well, it's restricted to produce that. They could produce more, but once again, there's a rule, and they change it with another rule, and they put other rules around it. Right. So
But
You know,
what is that doing? I mean, I've been driving a hybrid GS Lexus for a year or more, which the hybrid side of it produces 200 horsepower. What are they trying to do in the Formula One side?
exactly. I mean, the Formula One is all about the spectacle, entertainment, sport. What does it do for you to see it on the track when it's only half the cars? It doesn't do anything for me. All you're expecting is somebody like Fisichella last weekend at Spa. He could have won that race without Kimi Räikkönen having a KERS-equipped car. So you kind of got the unfair advantage. I know one team, everybody had the chance to run it, but you're kind of giving somebody an unfair advantage to win the race, because Fisichella should have won that race in a Force India, and it would have been fantastic for Formula One had he done so. But I think it's manipulation, not innovation to me.